learners. So let's go ahead and say hello to Emmanuel. I don't know if you all can see him. Go ahead and wave, Emmanuel.
Hey there, everybody.
Say hello to Kevin.
Hello.
And say hello to Sophia.
Hello, everyone. Good evening.
So Kevin will start us out by reading the instructions to our game, and Sophia will discuss the assessment portion, and Emmanuel will give us an overview of why games are fun in the online learning community.
Okay, so that was an awesome introduction. So yeah, I'm going to explain the instructions for Jeopardy. Maybe we all know how to play Jeopardy, but if we don't, here are the instructions. So we're probably going to have like 3 or 4 volunteers as players, and then we will have they will all see a grid or a board, which is the Jeopardy board, and there's 4 categories, and there's points ranging from 100 points to 300 points, and behind each point cell, there's a we okay? Okay. There is an answer prompt, and as you increase in points, the answer prompts get more difficult to respond to. So a player selects one of the answer prompts, and then it's revealed, and then all of the players that are playing have to type their answer in the form of a question into the Zoom chat. So, for example, if the answer cell reveals the author of e-learning in the 21st century, a community of inquiry framework for research and practice, the correct response that a player would have to type into the Zoom chat would be, who is D. Randy Garrison, who's the author of the book. So the first student who types the response correctly into the Zoom chat will be awarded the points and the amount corresponding to the answer prompt. And then once all of the categories and points are revealed, then the points are tallied, and then the player with the most points will win. So that's it for the instructions.
Thank you, Kevin. Thank you, Erica, for the introductions. So in the assessment part, we wanted to give opportunity for self-reflection, testing knowledge, and also discussion, so we can create like group discourse, like they could connect their learnings. So we had like a pre-game survey just to see how each participant felt about the knowledge. Then the game that Kevin explained how we're gonna be counting the points. And then a post-game survey to evaluate, contrast the pre-game survey with how you actually did in the game. And then finally, we wanted to create a space for discussion, so the members of the learning community can discuss what do they feel about the game, if it was a good experience, and about the content itself of the module or the learning unit.
All right. So why is it fun, right? Games are fun in general, right? Everybody likes playing games. Everybody plays games in their downtime, or we grew up playing some type of game, right? So it makes the learning process fun and engaging, right? When you're playing a game, time flies, everything's fun, right? You're not really worried too much about paying attention or whatnot, because you're already there. You're already concentrating and retaining that information, because you're not all over the place, right? Whenever you're reading a book, your mind wanders off, but whenever you're playing a game or you're taking a quiz, your mind stays there, right? And same thing with the game, right? It gives you a different perspective, right? Just like Kevin was saying, that you have to answer it in a form of a question, right? So that makes you think a little bit different, right? It gets a little different perspective in there, and it makes the learning process just a little bit more easier, right? And of course, people are more enthusiastic to learn when they're playing a game, right? Because everyone's, having a good time, the vibes are there, and it's just nice, right? And it builds confidence, because I like that meme that I put right there of Leonardo DiCaprio, because I want to say a lot of us have seen Jeopardy, right? And a lot of us, like, they'll ask a question and we'll answer it in our head, or we'll say it out loud, and then we'll be like, oh yeah, and then we were right? And a lot of us do that. And what's it called? So that's why I added it there. And it prepares everyone for exams, right? Not just children, right? Because you retain this information because of the game. You get more of a memory of what you learned, right? Because you attach it to a feeling or something, right? And it helps the revision process, just a little bit more easier, right? As you're revising with colleagues and you guys are quizzing each other, right? It's fun. because you're like, oh yeah, that's what it was or whatnot. But yeah, that's why it's fun.
All right, Dr. Rayner, is that okay if we play the game?
I don't know if we have time. Okay, guys, let's try to play like maybe one question. Let's try one question. How's that?
Sounds
Right.
good. So remember, all you need to do is type in your answer, and remember to type it in the form of how Jeopardy, if you were playing actually in Jeopardy. So you would say what is, and then your answer. Okay, so we'll start out with community of inquiry for 100. So everyone go to your chats and get ready to type in your answer. Name the 3 presences.
Remember, guys, in the form of a question.
Oh, we already have someone there.
You
Oh,
do.
there it is. No,
Don't-
I think
I
Seth
don't-
was the first one, so you got it, Seth.
Oh my
nice.
gosh, I'm missing. I want to see this. I'm missing.
Yeah. Good
I
job.
gotta
Good job.
maximize.
Yep, it looks like Seth was the winner. Good job, Seth.
I like this. This is kind of like Kahoot in the sense of more than one person can get the right answer, but who's the quickest?
Right.
And then,
makes it
so let's see if he was correct. What are social, teaching, and cognitive presence?
Yep.
Good job, guys.
Great. Are there any questions for group 1, team 1?
So here are references real quick. And then also we would just like to say thank you for playing Jeopardy with the Blue Designers. And if you have any questions or comments, just let us know. I can stop share also.
Has anybody used this kind of bingo in their classrooms? In Zoom?
Mhm.
With the same thing, like type your answer in the chat and
Yes.
is that how you do it?
Mhm.
I love that. I love that adaptation for Zoom. Great. Any other questions for group 1? Okay. Very fun, group 1. I love your bingo game. Excellent. And it's COI. It's perfect. So good job. Okay, group 2, you guys can queue up.
All right. Hello, everybody. I apologize. I'm getting a cold. We're group 2. We called our nickname is the Jokesters because we had a lot of fun together. We were able to collaborate on just our project and just the class in general. So we really enjoyed the group work, even though all of us were kind of apprehensive about it at first, but it turned out to be a great experience. So we chose to do ours on escape room and using it as an engagement in online classrooms. My name is Melinda. We have Carrie that's going to present, Aspen, and Kirsta.
Alrighty, so I'm taking level 2 or slide 2. So this is the basic ideas and instructions. An escape room format can be adapted to virtually any content area, particular skill, or standard within a curriculum. So whether the escape room format requires individual or group participation and collaboration, the aim is to engage all students in a lesson of sorts while teaching relevant skills and course content. Some general instructions, if you're not familiar with this type of activity, even though everybody probably is, it's simple and complex at the same time. So players must complete a series of tasks related to course content or materials in order to gain passwords, retrieve clues, or just to gather information needed to escape the room or to win. Students can participate collaboratively through a small group video conference, Google Meet, Zoom breakout rooms, and or Microsoft Teams. The cool thing about the online escape rooms is that students can also participate on an individual basis through any learning management system. So the flexibility there is kind of cool, but the group work is where it's at, right? So how to, couple of different steps here. Step 1 is the skills focus. So you're beginning with the end in mind and deciding which skills you're wanting to assess using the escape room. This helps focus the tasks you are creating to open each lock. So that's in step 2. I'm getting ahead of myself, but hang with me. So you're coming up with 4 to 5 challenges or kind of like overarching goals that students can complete in a timely manner. So bumping to step 2, it kind of all flows together, even though they're separate steps. So task creation is step 2. So again, you're beginning with the end in mind, and you're creating 4 or 5 tasks. So more closely related to objectives, kind of blending in from task or step 1. You're going to have students complete these based on the skills focus. So like I said, the goals. So this is less about figuring out the keys to open the locks and more about the actual process as a whole. So in this step, it's important to think to vary the types of activities so students are challenged in different ways as they move through. So step 3 is the main focus. So this is the story. This is the escape room story. Creativity is key here. You're coming up with a story that's granting a purpose to the challenge of the escape room activity. And this could be anything from escaping zombies to trying to get off a deserted island. You want to enjoy the process of being creative and creating a story that fits your personality and your students' interests. This is where you can figure out if there's going to be a prize or bonus points or not, depending on what kind of an instructor you want to be perceived as. Just kidding. But anyways, step 4 is the passwords and locks. So this is the clues and answers, essentially. You're coming up with special codes for each puzzle that will unlock each lock. This can also be in the form of riddles or little matching things. It's kind of up to you. You again want to vary the strategies to keep students interested and challenged, and you always want to include written directions on this, like step by step, so things aren't super complicated and there's like a clear direction there. So step 5 is the technicalities. So this is where Google Forms comes into play. We recommend looking up a step-by-step process for this, as it includes all of the details as per how your escape room rolls out. It's the input of the material, so this is really crucial in terms of like how everything rolls out, for sure. So overall, this idea is a really innovative idea because it's something that has been shown to get students excited and motivated to take a deeper dive into content material in an immersive and engaging environment. So with that, I will pass the baton off to Aspen for slide 3.
Hi, so we're at level 3, which is discussing assessment. These escape rooms allow you to use it as either an activity or an actual assessment to assess their knowledge, what they gained, whether they got the content or not. If you are using it as an assessment, you can use it formative or summative, depending on your needs. I like to personally use this right before students are about to take a test. It's a fun way to review for them. If you choose to use it as an actual assessment, it takes the place of just the normal test that they're used to. You also have the option of using a post-reflection form. You can ask about what they learned in the escape room, what was difficult about the escape room, what was difficult about working with a team, what was easy about working with a team, how they contributed to working as a team, and what their strength as a whole was. And that's really why we focus on, we want them to do it as a team, but they always do have the option to do it individually. But we like working as a team. They get to bounce ideas off of each other and get into that mindset of, okay, we really need to escape. Let's put our heads together and get the answer. Other than that, that's it for me, and I am passing it on.
Okay, so I have level 4, fun and innovation. Escape rooms offer an innovative way of learning. Using puzzles and codes allows students to problem solve. So players are presented with a variety of problems that they have to solve, which helps them gain skills in thinking through problems and developing approaches to solve them. Players persevere as they make multiple attempts to solve puzzles in different ways and use creativity as they come up with different solutions. They have to interact with their peers and not give up to solve the problem. Students are also able to use time management more effectively because because they are completing a challenge that requires them to collaborate and compete with others in a time-based challenge. Escape rooms are also a great way to keep students engaged in their learning. It offers a way to collaborate with peers, like I mentioned before. Using escape rooms, students work together to solve the puzzles and are able to investigate and solve the solutions together. This allows students to build relationships with each other and fosters a place to build their learning community, which we learned is very important. Escape rooms offer healthy competition with groups, and students are motivated when they can compete with other groups and try to solve the problem first. Groups are more motivated to stay on task and complete the assignment in a timely manner. And creating a game-based activity is a fun approach to learning content and making it more motivating for most students. Students immediately apply what they are learning by solving the puzzle and answering the questions. This can be created for all ages, which makes it a great tool to utilize. And as Kirsta mentioned, you can have various themes for each escape room and varied types of clues and questions, which makes it fun for students to interact and not get bored by any escape room, even if you use multiple throughout your course. And that's it for my section.
So there's a lot of resources online, so you don't have to start from scratch. You can also pull up videos that will walk you through step by step on how to create those. It can be a little intimidating at first, but join online organizations like on Facebook. There's a Bitmoji classroom, and you can type in the theme you're studying and it will already help you out. We thought about doing it as an introduction too. So like when you have your students tell each other their introductions and who they are, you can ask them questions to solve the escape room. So they really have to read those intro bios. For us, we could have said stuff like, who's a dental hygienist, or who really likes music, because that was all in that bio information from the beginning. I'm going to show you a simple escape room from like that could be at the lower grade level. You can be interactive. This one will my screen. It'll show you like, you know, hi, this is my theme right here that we're trying to find Nemo, and would you like to help me? And it tells them where to click exactly to get started. And then how many friends are Mr. Ray's class? So obviously this is more of a kindergarten level where they recount. And let's say they mess up. It'll say, oh no, that's not right. And you can actually get them to go back. So it's reinforcing those concepts in the class. It's really up to the teachers how in-depth and how complicated you want to make these. And then when they get them right, it says, wow, good job. And you keep going through it on this way. Do you guys have any questions for us? All right, thank you.
I have some questions. I was just waiting. Okay.
Okay.
That one that you just showed, Melinda, that was you, right?
Yes.
Where did that come from? That Nemo one?
One of my, I teach middle school history. So that came from our first grade teacher. I'd asked her.
Created it?
Yeah, she created it.
You guys do escape rooms much?
I do. We have at my school, we've done some, so like I've done some that has to do with the Civil War and everything, but I wanted a simple one for this class that, you know, no one had to think about the answers.
So Melinda, do you find it difficult to make? I've tried these before. I find them challenging.
I think once you make one, the first one takes a long time. And then after you've
That's
made
probably
one,
it. Yeah.
you kind of like, okay, I know what to do. And some of it you can kind of reuse, like just change the question here, change like an image there. So you have a pattern.
I'm just curious, can you use the reaction guys? How many of you have used breakout rooms in your courses? 2 of you, couple of you, 3, 4, several of you? Wow, you guys are innovative teachers. That is really cool. And I also want to say this is the first semester that I've had students use Canva as the presentation tool, and I love it. I'm gonna use that I want to stop using Google Slides and now only use Canva from now on. It just looks so professional. So that is really cool.
It was kind of great that we found the game one, because we're like, that ties into exactly what we're learning, and it was very simple. And I think that's that innovation of where we're always trying to find the next step to make our jobs easier, but to make it fun and appeasing for everyone.
So that Canva slideshow thing, was that like a template, or did you have to piece things together?
It was a complete, I would love to say we spent hours piecing it together, but it was a template that we just put in the information.
Man, I'm so excited to use that now. That is so cool. Is it pro or is it the free version?
Carrie, were we on your pro version or free?
I have the pro version, but you get it free as an educator, so
Okay.
it's still free.
Oh, you do? Educators get Canva for free? Yay. Canva Pro for free for teachers? All right. Okay, I'm going to sign up for that. Great. That was fabulous. That was team 2, right? Group
Yes,
2?
ma'am.
Okay, we're ready for group 3.
All right, can you guys see?
Mm-hmm.
That looks good. Are you ready, Erin?
Did it go? Sorry about that.
Okay, so hello, Dr. Rayner and classmates. I'm Frances Gomez, and our team is the new Intelligent Road Runners. We're all from New Mexico. That's where we came up with the name. Consists of some wonderful people enjoyed working with: Carly Carlson, Seth Miner, and Erin Lopez. So we're excited for you to take a look at our engaging group activity. Just quickly, working together has been an educational experience for our group. In this online class, we have developed a trusting and supportive group in all aspects of our time together. Dr. Rayner, you brought us together at the beginning of this community of inquiry course, where we truly have seen all the 3 presents. Thank you. We thank you for this online community of learners, where we have been able to build relationships and support each other through some engaging activities. Working together provided us with opportunities to learn from each other where we may have struggled individually. Our group has had some great laughs, which at times help bring calmness to a busy life we all have. I'd like to go through our team, what they will be introducing. Carly will go over the instructions. Seth will cover the assessments. And Erin will go over why an activity like an escape room is beneficial for group engagement and interaction. And then she will also share an example of her escape room. So over to Carly.
Okay, hi everyone. I'm gonna be going over the instructions, and group 2, you guys did an amazing job on it. So I hope this is not too much of a repeat, but for our instructions, we decided to design the escape room with it in mind that we would be doing this like in an online Zoom class, but there are ways that you can do it if you wanted your students to do it on their own, or maybe you don't meet on Zoom and you just want them to do it like on their own time, and I'll explain that at the end. But first, I'm just gonna go over if this was actually like in the real Zoom class. So we wrote that our goal or objective is working as a team. You will collaborate to escape by demonstrating your knowledge on the Getting Started module and syllabus. As group 2 said, you can do this over almost any theme, any topic, anything, but we decided for, the first escape room, it should be on the Getting Started module and syllabus. We were kind of hoping this could even serve as like the triggering event in a way, because they're getting to learn the syllabus, the course outline, but they're also getting to know their group members. And especially, depending on the teacher, you can either like break them out randomly, or you could kind of do what we did in the beginning of the course when you do like introductions, and then you decide who you want to work with. And then there's always that option, if you guys see like in the bottom it says breakout rooms, you can just assign them for the certain group. So that was kind of what we had in mind. And we thought, they would review the syllabus, the Getting Started module, they would participate in all of that. And then in the first or second Zoom class, they would then move into the escape room after they had the chance to familiarize themselves with the syllabus. And I personally also think it's a good way to get to know your classmates because sometimes when, you know, you never worked with them before and you guys are doing an escape room on like the content, sometimes you can get like a little intimidated or a little shy about not knowing it. But this way you're kind of working with them to learn something new and something that you all share in common. And like the sources are right there. So in our ideal, you know, situation, it would be groups of 3 to 4 classmates. They would open up the link for the escape room that you would post in the chat. And then they would write all the group members' names on the form on Google. And again, how you divide up the classmates is kind of up to the teacher. We were thinking just do it randomly just to get everyone to know each other. And in order to escape, they would have to read the questions thoroughly and answer the questions. And then in some escape rooms, depending on the teacher, you can give them hints. So if they get it wrong, then they'll get a hint, you know, maybe look at section 2 or something like that. And also as the teacher, you can like pop into each breakout room and kind of check on them as they go. So that part is really nice because then if they have any like immediate questions, they don't have to wait for your like written feedback. You can get it to them like right away. And while they're going through it, they need to record their answers because they'll need those later. And Erin's going to show her escape room, which will probably make more sense. But as they answer questions, again, depending on the escape room, because there's so many different ways to do it, sometimes they'll get like a word or like a number that they'll have to keep. And then at the end, they'll either like unscramble it or it'll become like a phrase that they have to put together. So in ours, we just had them record their answers for the end. And that's just going to be on like a Google sheet. They'll just have one person or a Google Doc, one person record it. And then when they finish, when they get to the page that's like, oh, congratulations, you escaped, then they'll take a screenshot of it and they'll use that for their post-reflection survey. So there's like 2 main parts to that is that they have to record their answers while they're doing it to actually escape the room. And then they have to take a screenshot of their final answers for the post-reflection survey. And Seth is going to go over that more in detail. And again, all the questions are going to be about the syllabus and the getting started module. So it's going to be a good way to get to know the class. And they have, you know, their group member support, but they also have their teacher support in real time. And for kind of the fun of it, they are going to be racing against the clock. So the first group to escape gets extra credit, which, you know, will kind of push them to really try hard. So this is all for if you were doing it like on the Zoom class, but if you decided, you know, my course doesn't do Zoom, you could again have them do it individually on their own. You could also have them do it as a group and then show them how to record on Zoom. So that way you could still get those times, still give them extra credit, but then, you know, then they can do it on their own time. So those are all options for, again, either if you want to do it synchronously on a Zoom meeting, or you can have them do it on their own, which is really, really nice. And the instructions are basically the same. So you don't have to change much if you decided, you know, the first escape room is going to be on Zoom, the second one is on your own. And that is it for the instruction slide. So now Seth is going to take it over and explain assessment a little bit more.
All right, thank you, Carly. To kick off the assessment slide, you know, as Carly said, this is going to be a timed event. And so this is escape room, obviously, it's going to be monitoring, collaboration, engagement, participation as well. But we also overlay that timed event, or that, you know, keeping track of time and rewarding the group that got through it first. When there are a couple of ways that you can go about this. We can, you know, we have the second bullet point of screenshots of the responses. Other ways that you can do this is if you have in a virtual or Zoom escape room, have them record so that you can go through and track the time, you know, first and foremost, the number of attempts to get the correct answer, and so on. As we mentioned earlier, upon completion, we are going to have them do an exit survey. And Erin, if you could click to that, we'll just go through and walk through what we are collecting. This is an exit survey that everybody within the group will individually fill out or complete. So obviously we're going to want to know first and last name. If it is something where you're tracking the responses through screenshots, we have a section for where they can upload those. How would you rate your participation? You know, individuals may feel as though they participated at a higher level, but group members may not feel the same when it comes down to it. So when you're able to do this assessment of the group, you can kind of see how that group plays together. And how would you rate how well the group worked together? Same thing. That perception could be different individually, across the group. We always think that it's important to identify what individuals think the group did well. So we have a section there where they can type in a response and elaborate on what they would like to highlight. And then obviously on the other side of it, we always want to know how, be looking at improvement and so on. So we ask them that question, what is something that you can improve on when working in groups? And so that could be something that they could input something that would be individually reflective of what they could improve on. Or if they felt that the group just, there needed to be more structure in general and so on, they can also reference there. We have a area where they can write down who they would like to participate with groups in the future. So that's something that teachers can utilize when trying to divide out groups as well. We don't have time to run everybody through strength finders and trying to figure out who's going to mesh well with everybody. We can always utilize that. And then any kind of constructive feedback on the activity, we do have a question where they can provide input on how the escape room went. So that is what we have for assessment. I will go ahead and turn it over to Erin.
All right, hold on. I have to, there we go. Okay, so to wrap it up, just why escape rooms, are innovative and fun. We've got escape rooms that are a really good fun combination of critical thinking and gameplay. It really promotes engagement and persistence because escape rooms tend to be very time sensitive, and that sense of urgency and risk adds an emotional investment for your students or players. And if your narrative or however you do design your escape room, it can also promote that intrinsic motivation, providing students with the opportunity to be successful. What's kind of called the sweet spot would be where the entertainment piece is meshing and intermixing with education. It really engages problem solving, which in itself is a form of, it engages puzzle solving, which is a form of problem solving. It really invokes what's called and I apologize if someone knows the pronunciation, but I pronounce it the Einstellung effect, which is the brain's tendency to, stubbornly cling to familiar solutions, what you already know. With an escape room, it really forces us to instead think really creatively to problem solve and find solutions. And then overall, escape rooms really help build relationships when they're in groups or even in partners. They really require that teamwork and that cooperation, which then in turn, you're able to build short bonds in a short amount of time, because not only are you trying to pull on your own skill sets individually, but you're also looking at your teammates' skill sets and how they can be utilized and how to work together to find these solutions and who can contribute to doing certain things, because then it also gives that sense of satisfaction and closeness, because they do work towards a common goal and achieving that goal. And ultimately, it promotes people to move and work outside of their comfort zone and engage with others in ways that they might not normally do. So I'm going to show you an escape room that I created. It is the first one I've ever created, so please. It was a bit challenging. It's a bit more basic than the one that Melinda's group presented. I'm using it in regards to a novel study where they have a project where they're creating an essay, a survival wilderness essay. So I use this escape room as an activity to help them gain items as they answer questions correctly. So then they could use those items in their survival wilderness survival essay. And so, for example, of course, they'll put their names. I'll just type in real quick and you can see, I can show you the first question of what it is. So it opens them up to room 1 saying welcome. They had to answer questions about the characters. In this case, main character Matt, he was left alone. Because he got left alone, he felt proud, not lonely. And so when they get it correctly, they get a congratulations. And in this case, for their one of their survival items would be a beaver pelt. Unfortunately, I do not have the knowledge as of yet to create when they get it incorrectly, but to make something really nice of like, oops, sorry. But if for some reason someone did get it incorrect, apparently I did not fix that. So I apologize. This is my first time creating one. And so it just, but that's what I've created as far as an escape room.
Sorry, I was muted. Great job, group 3. Are there any questions for group 3? Erin, I concur that they are very difficult to build. I've built one too, and I don't know. I don't know if I'll do another one because they're difficult. But who was that? Was that Melinda? Are you the one, Melinda, that said you just need to do one and then it gets easier? Is that what it is?
I believe so. And a lot of times once you have that format down, especially if you find like a theme you kind of like, you can adjust it a little bit.
Oh, also, guys, Breakout EDU, do you know that website? They have tons and tons and tons of breakouts on there on every subject level. So you can go just pick one, whatever you want on Breakout EDU. All right. Excellent job, group 3. We ready for group 4?
Yes, we're ready.
Okay, go ahead and share.
Michelle, did you want to share your screen or you want me to share mine?
That's fine. I can share.
Okay. Okay. So we are the scholarly duo. We started out as a scholarly trio, but ended up as a scholarly duo. And Michelle and I, it's interesting, we live on opposite ends of the United States. I'm in Florida and she's in California. So it was a challenge a little bit, meeting synchronously. We got it. And the other kind of monkey wrench that got thrown in is I went on vacation last week, so I was in Rome, Italy, and that added another hurdle to our communication. But we made it through and made it to where we are right near here tonight. And of course, that picture of me is I'm in front of one of the museums there in Rome, and of course there's Michelle. And we, kicked around different ideas also. We came to the conclusion that probably Michelle's area of expertise lends itself the best to interactivity and even collaboration, Spanish. And the basic ideas behind our activity is it's for high school Spanish students. The topic is pasatiempos, or pastimes, and the tools that we use are Nearpod and Kahoot. And I'm going to kind of jump over the activity for a second because Michelle is going to go over that part of it. But the fun part is that it is a subject matter, it's a discussion about hobbies and what people like to do as, to have fun. And the innovation here is there is an element of gamification. So there is situations where students can earn points for various things that they do in the activities. So I'm going to turn it over to Michelle now, and she's going to go over some of the specifics of the lesson.
Thank you, Bailey, for the introduction. Hi, everybody. I hope everybody have a wonderful evening, and I hope you enjoying the presentations. The lesson is about pasatiempos, meaning hobbies. This lesson has been prepared for students, for high school students. This lesson has been adaptable for students who English is not very well or Spanish is not very well, so have adaptations. So it's in English and in Spanish. They also have the objective of the lessons, which is to demonstrate, to be able to discuss preferences, to discuss other people's preferences. How you can see, I'm not gonna go through all of them because we don't have enough time, but then this lesson has been created with different components. Conocemos is where we see the teaching presence, where the teachers start to introduce the lessons, to make teaching presence about summary of the lesson, what the students gonna find. The lesson also have one component to explore, where the student engage cognitively. They have to do a field trip in a 360 video. They have to come up with some responses. The lesson also have social presence, when they have to work with a peer, where they have to challenge each other. And also they have to share that to the class to produce discourse. The class ended with reflections, which reflections about the content. So here, pretty much the student are given a space. This near part is very good for kids because they have their own, it can be their own pace, or we can do it also synchronous. With the teacher can be present, or they just can do it at home. And right here, the student has to interact with each other. They have to challenge each other. They have to write words, como se dice baseball in Spanish, and they challenge each other. So there is some interactions right there. After that, students have to do the 360 field trip. In this case, this is a video where the students can move around. They can explore the place. Let me see. Yeah. So, and after they watch the video, the 360 video, they have to come up with some questions. So then after that, students have to practice. They have to have a conversation, and they have to complete the sentences. Then they have to watch a video. This is a supplemental resource that I put there so the students can expand their knowledge. Also, students have the opportunity to work together and partners to come up with a conversation. They have to create a conversation about what the video that they watch. And like I said, this drawer here is the spaces where the students can just drop stuff because, you know, the lessons have some time off, quiet time. So most of the time the students have tendencies to do something else, to messing around. So this is to avoid that. So the students can just be creative and drop the stuff. Here, the students have to produce a discourse. They have to express what they see, what they explore. Okay. Oh, sorry, I can. I finished the class or the lesson with a poll where students have to answer questions related to the lesson. Garrison, he explained the importance of having polls in the classroom to have instantaneous responses from the students. So I think it was important to incorporate that. And also to collaborate. Students have to post their final thoughts, their reflection. So that's this is our other resources that we don't go through in class, but as students can be welcome to explore and learn more about it. So according to Garrison 2017, we have community of inquiry when we have social presence, when we do gamifications, when we share, and when we discuss. We have teaching presence, the interaction of the activities. For example, at the beginning, the teacher explained what we are gonna do, present the goals of the class. We have cognitive presence when the students have to express their knowledge. They have to do exploration. They have to go to a field trip and come up with responses. And they have also reflection. So how we can see this community of inquiry has been incorporated in the lesson, and then it can gamifications, which the assessment is based in gamification, which Bailey is going to explain about it.
Okay, so the tool for the assessment is Kahoot, and it is, as it says here, we create an innovative, culturally responsive way to assess. So that's based on the concept of gamification. And the other good thing about that, about using Kahoot as a tool, it allows us to have data on the engagement, and it also allows for immediate response. So a lot of interaction. So we felt like the two tools together, the Nearpod and the Kahoot, were really great for the interactive aspect of it. And as I was telling Michelle when we were going over this, I wish that this was the way that they had taught me Spanish way back when I was in high school. You know, we did the old-timey thing where we just copied verb conjugations all during class and did the occasional reading. And if we, you know, it had something a little bit more interactive, I'd probably be able to speak Spanish better than I can now. So, you know, as we said, this is the part of it that, well, the Kahoot is for the assessment, but it's an interactive assessment, so they can get immediate feedback as opposed to taking a test or writing an essay or doing something and then having lag time in between when they take the assessment and getting the feedback. And it's also a way to put it within the context of a culture because it is the different pastimes that take place.
Okay, the Kahoot, the good thing is that we can do it during the class. So like right now, if we don't have time, we can also assign to the students and they can do it in their own pace. So let us know if we have some time, we can play a little bit, or if no, and we can move on with the next presentation.
I don't think we have time, Michelle, but what I like is that you included it in the assignment page. And that goes for everybody. Everybody's presentations are in the module thing. So definitely take this Kahoot and like, I don't want to speak for everybody, but you've got some great ideas in there that you could possibly borrow, you know, for your classes. Like, I don't know. I hate bingo. Bingo would be great, but it's up to you guys if it's shareable or not. Okay? So
and we also want to share that for this presentation, we use Slide Mania. Is a very fun site that you can find different templates for presentations.
What is it again, Michelle?
Slide Mania, and it's a I
Slide
recommend.
Mania? I've never heard
Yeah,
of it.
it's here. It's on the side. If you look down in the lower left corner of this slide, it's slidemania.com. And they have all kinds of wonderful templates there that you can download, and like we took this and then template and moved it into Google Slides.
Really?
And they've got a lot of really fabulous ones. So it adds extra templates, instead of just kind of the boring PowerPoint ones or the
That's
Google Slide ones.
Great. I'm going to keep that in mind too, Slide Mania. So now we've got Canva and Slide Mania as options for our.
And also for the Kahoot, I did Kahoot because it's the most popular, but I also use Blockhead, which is the same dynamic Blockhead, and Jinky, which have the same components. And the kids actually love it. Since I meet Blockhead, I moved from Kahoot, but Kahoot is more traditional. But if you want the resource, if you want to play with your students and you want them to have fun, use Blockhead. However, I don't recommend for little kids because I have kids, I played it with my kids and my kids cry if they lose. So it's a little bit sensitive. You want to play Blockhead with grown-up kids, not with little ones, because they're going to hurt their feelings.
Can you put the name of that in the chat?
Sure.
Spell that.
Blockhead. Okay, I will do that.
And, I think it was you, John, that was saying you wish you learned Spanish that way. I wish I learned everything this way growing up.
Yeah.
Learn so much more if everything was Nearpod, Kahoot, Jeopardy, escape rooms. Imagine how much better we would have learned.
Oh yeah.
Gosh, these kids are learning more these days. Is that how you spell it? Blockhead?
Blockhead and Jinky. They have the same dynamic than Kahoot. However, Jinky, I think is very that you develop different skills because they have different components than Blockhead, than Kahoot, but I have the same dynamic.
Okay, good to know. I'm learning some things tonight.
Yeah. And it's for free. It's for free.
That's great.
It said, I think 50 participants. After over 50 participants, you might have to pay a membership.
Okay. Is there any questions for group 4? Okay, we're on to our final group and we're doing well on time. So group 5, is that where we're at? I think we're at group 5.
Yes, I think it's group 5. I think we're at now.
All right.
Sorry, everyone. My internet is just not wanting to work.
All right, perfect. So I guess we'll go ahead and get started. We are group 5. I guess our name is a group because we are a group. So my name is Dominique. I teach 4th grade elementary, and then I'm going to let my group mates go ahead and introduce themselves, and I'll tell you the flow of our presentation.
Hi, I'm Whitley Muncie, and I teach 8th grade math and Avid in TRC, New Mexico.
And hi, everyone. My name is Quinn Thomas, and I am a football coach here at New Mexico State.
So as we heard from the previous groups, Kahoot is probably one of the most popular and well-known platforms as far as game-based kind of like learning and assessment. So Whitley's going to go ahead and start off with the basic idea and instructions. I'm going to go ahead and go over the assessment tools, and then Quinn's going to go ahead and finish it off with the fun and innovative part. If you'd like to go right ahead.
Okay, so Kahoot is a free game-based learning activity that allows students to compete with other students by answering multiple choice questions quickly and accurately. Kahoot can be used for reviews, assessments, homework, or just for fun. And personally, my students love playing Kahoot. Kahoot can be played in a synchronous or asynchronous environment, making it a great activity for face-to-face, online, or for blended classrooms.
There are many pre-made Kahoots available for the public, and these are free, but it's also very simple to create your own. Students begin by going to the Kahoot website on their phone, computer, or really just any device that has internet. Then there will be a PIN number displayed on the board. And so students will type in this PIN number while listening to the really catchy Kahoot theme song, or sometimes there's recordings from popular artists from recent concerts. So like the last time I did it, and I didn't even know this was a feature, but we were listening to like Justin Bieber at his latest concert. So that was pretty neat as well. The students really liked it. And how do the students see the questions? Well, the questions in a synchronous environment, the questions would be posted on the teacher's board, and then everyone would be answering the multiple choice questions on their own personal device. In an asynchronous setting, Kahoot can be played as a self-paced activity, but you're still wanting to be fast and accurate to get the most points. So like I just said, students gain more points the faster they answer the questions. So 2 students could answer correctly, or more than 2 students, but whoever answers the question first earns the most points, and then the next person and the next person. And then after each question, there's a scoreboard that's presented, and that shows, when I say like Sarah is on a roll, she got 5 right, or if students fell a few places or went up a few places, it will show things like that. And then at the very end of the game, the top 3 winners are shown on the podium, and then 4th and 5th place are also acknowledged at the bottom of the screen. But the student with the most points at the very end does win. And so these were the basic ideas and the instructions for Kahoot. Next, Dominique will explain how Kahoot can be used as an assessment tool.
Thank you, Whitley. So students are presented with reading, videos, discussions, activities on a specific topic within the content area. So after that overview of information, Kahoot's purpose is basically to engage students through a fun quizzing, either polls or surveys, to assess the content knowledge. I know within my classroom, especially in elementary, there's no textbook on social studies and science. There's like STEM scopes, and as we've seen the previous group, they did Nearpod. That's kind of like the main platform teachers kind of use. So Kahoot supports pre-assessment, productive formative assessments, and also student reflection. I know one cool way that I like to use Kahoot is in the morning. My students are a little groggy, they don't have enough energy. So I play Kanye West, Good Morning. I just play the instrumental, and then I give them a Kahoot about some of the things that they should be getting done in the morning, like some of their warm-up questions, or what are some things that you're supposed to do as far as coming into like the classroom for face-to-face, or some of our online, etiquette that they're supposed to follow. So speaking of fun and innovative things, we're going to let Quinn go ahead and dive into that.
Thanks, Dominique. So Kahoot is a blast. I'm going to talk about why Kahoot is such a fun learning assessment for you guys to utilize in your classrooms. So Kahoot is an energetic and lively platform. It offers a great change up to what the students are used to, whether online or a blended classroom, whatever website you use to give your tests and quizzes, or whether it's a paper test or quiz. Students have the opportunity through Kahoot to see live results, and it offers them a competitive aspect that they don't typically get from those traditional assessments. It reduces the monotony and boredom that can sometimes happen in a classroom or in an online class, as well as it is visualized and unique. So the platform consists of pictures and music playing in the background, like they've mentioned before. I know you can insert YouTube videos or pictures into your test questions. And like I said, the competitive aspect, it offers motivation for the students to learn the information and perform well. Next, it focuses on social learning. It does this by engaging the whole group or class, whether virtually or in person at the same time, and offering a competitive way for students to learn as well as be assessed at the end of learning the information. Next, it utilizes technology. Kids in today's world grew up, holding a cell phone or an iPad. So it's a very seamless transition for them to understand, and it's a more natural form of learning and being assessed for the kids. Finally, the competitive aspect, like I've talked about, students enjoy having the ability to compete with each other, as well as trying to earn a place on the podium. I know with the football team here, we utilize it with our players. They're naturally more competitive, but it's a great tool for them to try to learn the information and compete against each other to win the game. So those are all the reasons why we believe Kahoot is a fun learning assessment. And that kind of wraps up our presentation. If there's any questions, we will answer those now.
Thank you, Group 5. Are there any questions for Group 5? Quinn, I have a question for you. How would you use Kahoot with the football team? Or I'm just curious about any of these things. Nearpod, Kahoot, escape rooms. How would you use some of these interactive things with your football teams?
So just like a traditional classroom, we put together installations of our scheme, just like a lesson plan, and we'll send it out to the group via a link to take our Kahoot quiz or test. And basically we'll just get a grasp on what information they're understanding and what they're not understanding. And then we also use it in our positional meetings, and we kind of test them over stuff that we've covered in the past. So we use it just like a traditional classroom would, but mostly to grasp whether or not they're understanding the schematics that we're teaching them.
Okay, and I'm pleading ignorance here because I don't know what you have to teach them. I mean, is it like plays that you teach them, or what?
Exactly.
What's the curriculum for them?
Exactly. It's mostly plays. I'm trying to think of the simplest way to explain it, but it's mostly just plays that, that we're going to be running or that we're putting in, or we can even test them over some of the things that the opposing team that we're going to do, some of the things that they do based on the film that we've studied on them.
So you could essentially do any of these things that were presented on tonight.
Correct. Yep.
And it's fun, and they're in it for fun anyway.
Yeah, and they're naturally competitive, so it just sparks their competitive juices, and it's a good way to keep them engaged.
That's really exciting. Very exciting. Great. All right. I'm sure you all have used Kahoot, right? Kahoot's probably one of the standbys for the classrooms. Is that correct? I'm just making an assumption, but it's pretty commonplace now in the classroom. But it's not commonplace, but not boring. Because I know in my classrooms, it's wild fun. Wild fun. Even adults just absolutely love Kahoot. It's really amazing. Okay. Any other final comments, questions, anything to discuss before we finish up tonight?
I'd like to add to that toolbox of Kahoot, blockaging kit, also Quizlet. We do
Quizlet. Now, what about, I haven't used this one. Has anybody used Quiz-Izz?
Yes.
Q-U-Z-I-Z-Z. Is Quiz-Izz, is it like Quizlet or is it different?
It's different. Quizlet is more structured with different activities. Quizlet is like a Kahoot, like assessments.
Okay.
Quizzes. Yeah, they're different.
Okay, that's really good. Thank you, Michelle, for mentioning some other things. Are there other standbys that you really like in your classroom that we didn't touch on tonight? What are some other really fun ones that you like?
I don't know. I'm sorry, but I don't know if you guys use Mentimeter. This has been very helpful for me too. I love it.
Sure, I like that one.
Mentimeter. It's more not for kids. It's more like a professional, like for trainings and stuff like that. So
correct.
But the kids can use it as well.
Or you could use it with the high school kids too.
Yeah.
Definitely. I like Mentimeter. Anything else, teachers? I'm learning a lot from you guys tonight. So
I use Learning Legends, so that's one thing that I use.
Which one?
Say that again.
Like Learning Legends or Legends of Learning? Yeah, Legends of Learning. That's what's up. Legends of Learning, and it's kind of like elementary. I'm not sure if middle school or high school uses it, but it's like literally game-based learning. Every single thing is like a game setting, but it has like social studies, it has science, it has math, it has all types of subject areas within it. And it's kind of, they do it at their own pace, but yet they're still ranked in a leaderboard, I guess. So you do it at your own pace, but there's still a leaderboard that the class participates in. And after like each and every game-based activity, there's an actual assessment at the end as well. That's also game-based. So it's like a full curriculum kind of thing for it. And it actually follows the standards. That's how you create the activity. You plug in the standards, and then it gives you the activity.
Wow.
Can you type it in the chat box?
And I think, Dominique, you were in my last class, I can't remember what it was, 575 or something like that. Was that your final presentation? I think I heard you, I think you presented on that. Did you?
Yeah, I think I included that in, yeah.
Yeah, that's
I
where I
think I was taking professional development on it as well.
Okay, yeah, I don't see it in the chat yet, so I do want to see what that's called. Legends of Learning. Does anybody use the classroom managements like, what is it, Classroom Dojo or Classcraft or any of those?
Dojo.
Dojo. Erica, I think I saw you raise your hand. Which one do you use?
So I've used Seesaw. Well, that's kind of like a digital portfolio platform, but Class Dojo is good for classroom management. You can give points to kids for pretty much anything. They have standard categories like, behaving, walking in line, or, small things like that. But you can edit it so that it can be, if they turn in their work, they get a point. So it's more of the extrinsic rather than the intrinsic. But I mean, I always say, extrinsic learning can turn into intrinsic learning.
Yeah.
It starts out extrinsically, and then it'll turn into intrinsic learning.
Do you use it regularly, Erica, or is it just something you've tried here and there?
So I used it for about 2 years, and then our school turned over into a Seesaw ambassador. So we could no longer use Class Dojo, but I did miss it. And I did try to use it at the beginning, but it was hard to keep up with the two platforms at the same time, because both platforms offered communication outlets with parents. So I just wanted to keep it easy and just use Seesaw.
That is more for elementary kids, right? Because I tried to use Seesaw with my high schooler, and they look at me like, you crazy. Like, what are you doing? I was like, okay, never mind. Yes. Yeah, it's more like that for elementary.
What I did want to mention too, and I know you know this, Michelle, because you've used Nearpod, and then everybody else who has used Nearpod, is the game portion where it's the time to climb. And I think, Quinn, your students would probably, or your players would benefit from this, because they can actually see, it's very much like a quiz, and as they answer, they're like literally climbing a mountain.
Oh, that's cool.
And so they can see who is, you have to do it in real time in order for them to, feel the competitiveness. But I lived by that one. It's called
Cool.
Time.
Can you put that one in the chat?
Yes.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let me ask you a question about Seesaw. Remember the announcement I sent out this past week, maybe just a couple of days ago, about the EDLT 590 capstone that they're now implementing a portfolio in? Do you think that Seesaw a portfolio site?
I won't use Seesaw for that.
Use it?
It's a digital portfolio.
It's for elementary, not for higher education.
Okay, I don't know.
I think you could tweak it, honestly, so that it could be, all ages. Honestly, I feel like just like the Jeopardy game, I would play that with kindergartners, and you can just, edit it so that it'll have more advanced questions. So it's kind of, Seesaw is the same thing. It's just a place to put your assignments and have record of it.
And you just need to start thinking about what platform you want to use for your portfolio. So, I mean,
but Seesaw is like the platform.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, CISA is the platform where people put the information. So
That's what I'm talking about for 590. For a portfolio, you need to start thinking about what platform you want to use for a portfolio. And
yes.
someone mentioned maybe in one of the comments, I don't know, maybe it was Whitley, I can't remember who it was, about how you had created some kind of module for a previous EDLT course you were in, and how would you best show it, as a screen capture or whatever. But then after that, I remembered and I posted later, you can also use Canvas free for teachers. And that way you can just import your stuff right in and you don't have to like do anything special to get it in there. Like you don't have to create a screencast of whatever that was. You just put it in there. So be thinking about that. You guys have some time. When do you take, how far are you into the program? Is this your first year, most of you?
Should be finished in the end of the summer.
Emmanuel and Dominique, you guys have been here for a while. Are you the ones that have been here the longest?
I started in the fall and then, but I'm like fast pacing it. I did 4 in the fall. I'm doing 4 this semester, and then I'm doing the 2 in the summer.
Okay. All right. And Dominique, you're almost finished too, correct?
Yes, I'm almost.
Are you doing the 590 capstone next, Dominique, or not?
I'm registered for it, but I'm still trying to weigh it out just because I know that class is going to require so much of my focus, and I have
It is.
another class I have to take along with it. So I believe my advisor told me that I can use the work from the other class and then kind of like, I don't know, use it for 590 a little bit. Like, it kind of goes together a little bit. Or I mean, this class and 590 kind of goes together.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of work. But remember, all this really cool stuff you guys have created in this class, and I know you've done equally amazing things in your other classes, start saving your stuff. You don't want to lose anything. So, I don't know where you want to put it. Maybe you want to start your portfolio now, but somehow you need to start getting a file or a folder ready of all your really cool stuff that you've done. And like the escape rooms, I don't think you're going to be able, well, you might be able to put it in the portfolio, but things like that that aren't going to like really fit, you could do screenshots or a screencast of something if need be. Okay, coming up on an hour and a half, decent time. We did really well. Francis, do you have your hand up? No? Okay. Anything final? Okay, I have recorded this tonight. I'm going to put this recording in the in the group meeting link. The group meeting link is worth 0 points. It wasn't worth any points. I've already graded all the projects, but I'll upload this video into that link. You guys can come back and watch it if you want to review anything that the other students have done. And feel free to, you've got some great tools for your toolbox now. And you've seen some amazing things that your peers have done. So as educators, we need to share. So share and learn and use and reuse and use and remodify, rehash, remix. So we've got some great things learning together, and take from your peers and use that stuff in your future classrooms. So good luck to you guys. It's been a pleasure getting to know all of you. I know I'll see you again because once you get started, I see you again and again in other classes, but I probably won't see you again till next year. What was that class, Emmanuel and Dominique, the one that you took with me last?
The web design, I mean, not the web,
Yeah.
the web conferences.
Yeah,
Web conferences.
575?
No, the 575, I think, is the one that's coming up, I want to say. I think the one we took was web conferences.
Yeah.
How to make the web conference. I'm not sure what the number is.
Okay, so I'll see you guys next year in the designing web conferences and web meetings, and I'll see you again in the capstone. And in the meantime, you'll have other amazing professors. I don't even know all of them. I only know Julia. It's been a while, but I know there are, you know, there's several professors that you'll get to be introduced to and learn different styles from. Okay. This is your final week. Try to get everything. Everything needs to be in finalized, final by Friday, March 4th, 11:59 p.m. If you're not satisfied with a grade on something, you can go back and redo whatever to try to get a higher score. So, and then grades will be, I'm hoping to get grades posted next week, but in case something happens. So hopefully you'll have it midterm, but if something happens, you may not get it till the end. So we'll see. But anyway, good luck and keep in touch. And we'll see you again soon. Bye.
I have a question.
Oh, yes.
You can stop the recorder. Oh.
Oh, okay, just a second. Let me stop the recording. Just a minute. Recording.